Hello YouTube, welcome to Monday's edition of The Breakfast Club. I'm Got That Funk. I'd like to thank you for joining me. And I'd also like to apologize because I look and feel like shit today. I almost didn't go into work and I almost decided to skip my video, but I'm plowing through both because the show must go on. Anyway, right, so onto the topic of this video, which was inspired by an article that I read on billmoyers.com earlier this evening. I'm going to link that article in the description box below in case you're interested in checking it out, because it actually has some interesting things to say, not all of which I agree with, but I think it's a worthy read. And I'm only going to be referencing part of it in this video, which is this. The suggestion is made in the article that once upon a time there was a stereotype in America that, your typical beer drinker was probably a Democrat, blue-collar working man, might be a member of a union, that kind of a thing. And, your stereotypical Republican would be represented by the sort of business and executive class. So they would be drinking things like martinis or champagne or something like that. But over the last few decades, the stereotype seems to have shifted to where, beer drinkers are perceived to be Republicans, good old boys who drive a pickup and drink beer. And your Democrat now has sort of gone... The stereotype is that they're more snooty, sort of Chianti wine snob type people. Now, I want to say straight up that I find the article interesting, and at this point they make in the article, I agree, is quite interesting. However, I do completely disagree. I think you can't tell whether someone's a Republican, Democrat, or whatever their political persuasion might be based on whether or not they like beer. But they're not talking about that. They're talking about the stereotype and how that has been shifted over the years. Do you agree that the stereotype has been shifted, or do you think the stereotype was always and still is ridiculous, which is what I think? Lots of stereotypes have some basis in truth, but most stereotypes are not the truth. And I think this is a good example of that. I honestly don't think that even if someone is a wine snob, it says anything about their income level. I come from Northern California, where Sonoma County specifically, where we grow a lot of grapes, okay? And yeah, growing up in a place like that, you learn to appreciate good wine. And I don't think there's anything snobbish about saying that, generally speaking, it's not always true, but generally speaking, if you pay a lot of money for a bottle of wine, it's extremely superior to cheap wine. Even though cheap wine is perfectly tasty and drinkable and enjoyable. Spend a lot of money on wine, spend $80, $100 on a bottle of wine if you know what you're doing, and yeah, it's so significantly better that it's almost like you're drinking something different. Wine snob. But I don't think there's anything better about drinking wine. Now, I want to tell you a story about how I've personally been experienced as being stereotyped based on what I drink, okay? Even though, like I say, I grew up in Sonoma County, and we also have a lot of orchards in Sonoma County. In fact, I grew up in a place, we had orchards on my property. And so I was well acquainted with everything that you could do with apples, including hard cider. I had heard of hard cider, but until I moved to the UK in 1989 at the age of 27, I hadn't actually tried drinking hard cider. It just didn't sound appealing to me at the time. But when I moved to the UK, not only did I find that I liked hard cider, but I specifically liked white cider. I discovered this drink at the time. I don't think they sell it anymore. It used to be called Diamond White. And Diamond White was really, really nice. And so because I liked the taste of it, I was like, hallelujah, some alcohol I can really enjoy because I like the taste. Because generally speaking, one of the reasons I don't drink much is because I don't like the taste of almost any alcohol. Suffice to say that I was unaware of the stereotype that goes along with Diamond White. I went to a pub once with my friends, and I ordered some Diamond White, and I can't remember if it was the bartender or if it was someone next to me at the bar, but someone said, bit of a woman's drink, isn't it? And I was like, is it? I don't know, I just really like the taste, and I drank it. Nowadays, if I go to a pub and drink, I will drink flavored ciders, either red or purple in particular. I like strawberry Koppenberg or red Bulmers or purple Bulmers, that type of thing. And again, I do get those sort of weird looks from people. It's like, dude, what are you drinking that for? It's nighttime. That's a daytime drink, or that's a girl's drink, or whatever the hell people think. I'm not really sure. But my attitude is I like the taste, and I don't owe anybody an explanation. But where do these stereotypes come from? That's what I'm interested in finding out. I'd like to ask all of you. I'm sure that all of my audience out there has some sort of preconceived notions about what it means when you see someone drinking something in particular. Maybe not about all different kinds of alcohol that you might see someone drinking, but specific kinds of alcohol do seem to have some stereotypes, some of which endure and some of which come and go. One that came and went, yeah. One that came and went that I'm aware of was back in the 80s when I used to live in California. In the middle of the 80s, toward the end of the 80s, drinking a Corona with lime was a very sort of yuppie, posery kind of a thing to do. You know, it was sort of like the wine of beer, if you want to put it that way. You know, real men drank, you know, something else, but if you were a bit of a yuppie or that kind of, you know, upwardly mobile, trying to impress women, that type thing, you'd be drinking a Corona with a lime in it. Yeah. I never, ever, ever drank a Corona. I just don't like it. I smelled it once and I'm like, ew, no. Anyway, what kind of stereotypes do you have in your brain based on what someone else likes to drink? I'm pretty sure that most people don't have political stereotypes in mind, but do you jump to any conclusions based on someone else's choice of drink? Like if someone likes scotch or bourbon, what does that make you think? You know, if you see a woman drinking Bacardi 151, what does that make you think? You know, inquiring minds want to know. JJ Talks is up next for tomorrow's edition of The Breakfast Club. I look forward to seeing what she's got to say. And I look forward to hearing from you in the comment section down below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't subscribed already. I'll see you again next week. Thanks for watching.